And you're tuned into the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashan De Silva. On this week's episode, it's about Avishai Cohen, his biography and best hits. Avishai Cohen was born in Israel and grew up with music all around him. He studied in New York, played with legends like Chick Corea early on, and pretty much carved out his own path. What makes him special is how he takes jazz and mingles it with so many other flavors. Middle Eastern, classical rock, even ambient, and he always makes a trumpet sound like it's singing. Now some of his best albums, Triveni 2, raw trio energy, Into the Silence, emotional, written after his father passed, so it's heartfelt and haunting. He's basically one of those artists who can make you feel everything from grief and tenderness to excitement and adrenaline, sometimes all in one song. And that was a bit of insight into the biography and best hits of Avishai Cohen. More details coming up. Also coming up, some trending festival and album news. And you're tuned into the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashan De Silva. On this week's episode, it's about Avishai Cohen, his life and times and best hits. During this summer, we're going to be talking about his biography. Avishai Cohen is one of those musicians who completely redefines what jazz can be. He was born in 1970 in Israel into this multicultural family with roots in Spain, Greece and Poland. So from the get-go, he was surrounded by all kinds of music. He started on piano at 9 but then switched to bass at 14. By the early 90s, Cohen moved to New York City to study at the New School. He meets Chick Corea, who becomes a huge mentor. Imagine playing alongside Corea, one of jazz's legends, while also performing on the streets and working construction to make ends meet. He later joins Corea's Origin Sextet and New Trio. Those years are pivotal. They shape the technical mastery and emotional depth that we hear in all his albums. Then Cohen launches his solo career, starting with albums like Adama, Devotion and Colors, where he's already blending Mediterranean, Latin and jazz influences in this way that's completely unique. In 2002, he even started his own label, SFJAZZ Records, to give him the freedom to explore jazz, rock, pop and Latin music without compromise. He's not just a great bassist, although his innovative techniques make the instrument sing in ways people don't even think were possible. He's also a composer, arranger and vocalist. Albums like Shout, Regishot show off his vocal talents, weaving Hebrew lyrics with jazz and classical elements. Later, projects like 1970 and Two Roses add orchestral and pop rock layers, showing he's never content staying in one lane. His style, total genre fusion, jazz, Latin, Middle Eastern, classical, sometimes even pop. Rich harmonies, intricate rhythms, emotive melodies. Critics and musicians alike see him as a game changer. Cohen isn't just playing music, he's shaping the future of jazz. Every album, every collaboration, every live show is his mix of technical brilliance and emotional storytelling. He's one of those artists where if you start listening, you'll get pulled into this huge, colorful world of sound. And that was some insight into the biography of Avishai Cohen, and this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashan De Silva. On this week's episode, it's about Avishai Cohen, his biography and best hits. Now it's time for some trendy music news. Mark your calendars because from November 8th through the 23rd, the 14th annual TD James Moody Jazz Festival returns to the New Jersey Performing Arts Center, and it's stacked with some of the most legendary names in jazz, hip-hop, soul and poetry. Festival artistic advisor and jazz powerhouse Christian McBride will be taking the stage with his big band with the incomparable voices of Andra Day, Jost James and Ledisi. And if that's not enough to get your toes tapping, we've got a full citywide lineup blending jazz with the spoken word, dance, blues, Afro-Caribbean rhythms and beyond. Think George Cables, Omar Sosa, Arturo Sandoval, Stanley Clark, Savion Glover. It kicks off on November 8th with Jazz Vespers at Bethany Baptist Church featuring the legendary George Cables Trio. Then on the same night, Omar Sosa's Corridor Americano brings Latin jazz fireworks to NJPSC's Victoria Theatre. Sunday, November 9th, it's a bass lover's dream. It's Stanley Clark and special guest Ben Williams going head-to-head on acoustic and electric basses. From free shows to full-price main stage events, there's something for everyone. So whether you're a long-time jazz fan or just love incredible live music, this is the festival you don't want to miss. Tickets range from free to $79, and you can get yours at njpsc.org/jazz. And that was some trending festival news on the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashan De Silva. We are going for a short break. We'll be right back after that. When we come back, we're going to be talking about some of Avishai Cohen's best albums of all time. Stay tuned. And you're tuned into the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashan De Silva. On this week's episode, it's about Avishai Cohen, his biography and best hits. During this summer, we're going to be talking about some of his best albums of all time. Here's a quick recap of what's coming up. The first one's called Into the Silence, released in 2016. This one is very emotional. Avishai wrote it after his dad passed away, so it's basically a meditation on grief and memory. But instead of being heavy, it's hauntingly beautiful. The trumpet feels like it's whispering secrets, and the whole thing has that cinematic ECM vibe. It's the album that you put on late at night when you want to just feel something deep. Another album called Cross My Palm with Silver, released in 2017. Now this is him turning outward. It's fiery, restless, very much about the world's chaos. Like he's wrestling with what's going on around us. There are grooves, but they are subtle. A very smouldering album. It's like he bottled tension and turned it into music. An album called Playing the Room, released in 2019 with Jonathan Avishai. A total different vibe. This is a duo album with just trumpet and piano. And it's so intimate. It's like eavesdropping on two best friends having a deep, soulful conversation without words. The silence matters as much as the notes. Perfect for a quiet afternoon when you just want to sink into sound. And that was some insight into what's coming up during this hour, and you're tuned into the Weekend Jazz Update with Joshua De Silva. We're going for a short break. We'll be right back after that. Stay tuned. And this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Joshua De Silva. On this week's episode, it's about Avishai Cohen, his biography and best hits. During this hour, we're going to be talking about some of his best albums of all time. The first one's called Into the Silence. This album is like nothing else. Imagine this, Cohen had just lost his dad and he channels all that grief, reflection and memory into music that feels so personal, it's almost like he's whispering straight into your ear. From the very first note of life and death, his muted trumpet is this mournful, aching voice so hauntingly beautiful, and honestly, if you're a Miles Davis fan, you'll totally get those ballad vibes, but it's uniquely Cohen's own emotional language. What's incredible is how the entire ensemble, Bill McHenry on sax, Jonathan Avishai on piano, Eric Revis on bass and Nashit Waits on drums, they sound like they've been playing together forever. It's so cohesive. Like in Behind the Broken Glass, McHenry's sax just brings these gorgeous emotional lines that feel painterly. You can almost see the colors in the music. And Cohen's muted trumpet, it's like a living thing, tender but also precise, cutting through the subtle textures with its tactile, intimate tone. And ECM's reduction, it's perfect. The sound has this airy, spacious quality, almost like you're in a warm, echoing church. Every note has room to breathe. The album moves in those waves. 1 minute it's soft, reflective, almost sad, and then it'll twist into these sharp, intricate passages that pull you in even deeper. Tracks like Dream Like a Child are so delicate, with these little swinging moments that shimmer and make the entire thing feel alive yet fragile. This album isn't just magic, it's meditation. It's grief, love, memory and beauty all folded into one. Into the Silence is a masterpiece, a heartbreaking, comforting and unbelievably beautiful album all at once. So after Into the Silence, Cohen really flips the script with Cross My Palm with Silver. It's like he's stepping out of personal mourning and opening up to the world, and he does it differently. Imagine the same lyrical, haunting trumpet you loved before, but now it's sharper, more urgent, like it's responding to the chaos and tension all around us. His dream team really shines here. Jonathan Avishai on piano, Barak Mori on bass, Nashit Waits on drums, and Cohen himself. They're moving with this crazy intuitive freedom. It's that magical balance of structure and improvisation where it feels spontaneous but perfectly controlled. Critics actually compare Cohen's tone here to Miles Davis, so restrained and colorful, but each note carries so much emotion. And then you have tracks like 340 Down and 50 Years and Counting. There's tension and reflection woven in. Subtle nods to political and social struggles, but it never feels preachy. Instead, it's music as emotional and poetical meditation. You get this meditative quality where music carries both empathy and urgency. And every instrumental voice is so perfectly tuned to the others, it's almost telepathic. This album has this crystalline clarity. Cohen's trumpet in the high registers, those Middle Eastern motifs sneaking in, the ensemble's responsiveness, it all transforms tension into something contemplatively beautiful. It's like the music breathes. It's urgent but serene, reflective but probing, and completely mesmerizing. And an album called Playing the Room. This one's like nothing else Cohen has ever done. Picture this, it's just him on trumpet and Jonathan Avishai on piano, two people, one room, and this insane musical conversation happening between them in real time. It's minimalism at its most expressive, and you feel you're like sitting right there with them, listening to every breath and nuance. What makes this so special is the sheer intimacy of it. Cohen and Avishai have known each other since they were kids in Tel Aviv, so there's this effortless, almost telepathic rapport. Jazz Times really said it when they said the duo converses through their instruments. Every note, pause and phrasing choice feels like a dialogue, and Cohen's trumpet retains all that brassy humanity. You can hear every little emotion, vulnerability, joy, nostalgia, all woven into his playing. What's really cool is how they reinterpret classics alongside Cohen's originals. So you've got Coltrane's Crescent, Coleman's D.D., even Argo's Lullaby, Sure Eris, all filtered through this muted, spacious sound that almost feels cathedral-like. ECM's reduction is perfection, crystal clear with just the right resonance to make you feel enveloped in the music. Reviewers rave about the album's glow and subtle joy. It's restrained but full of life. Every phrase feels deliberate but relaxed. There's this understated pleasure in watching two lifelong friends make music together, sometimes soft and gentle, sometimes unexpectedly poignant. The only minor critic people have is that the intimacy can make it feel a bit uniform by the end, but the warmth, the clarity and the depth make up for it tenfold. By the time you finish, you really understand why it's called Playing the Room, because they literally fill the room with music that's alive, personal and full of empathy. It's a testament to friendship, trust and the magic of chamber jazz intimacy. This is the kind of album that'll stick with you for days. On this week's episode, it's about Avishai Cohen, his biography and best hits. Now it's time for some trending music news. Sara Serpa is an absolutely mesmerizing Portuguese jazz vocalist, and she's coming back to her alma mater, the New England Conservatory, for a super special duo concert with the insanely talented pianist Matt Michel on Thursday, October 2nd. It's not just a concert, it's also a masterclass. They're going to be performing pieces from their upcoming album End of Something, which drops November 7th. This album is apparently 15 tracks of pure intimacy and brilliance. Like, we're talking a deep, literally musical conversation happening right there on stage. And the masterclass, that's your backstage pass into their brains and creative processes. They'll be breaking down improvisation, composition, collaboration, even giving tips on building trust and communication in a duo. Basically, if you have wondered how two musical minds sync so perfectly, this is the ultimate glimpse. Sara's voice is something else, pure, fearless, wordless, yet emotionally powerful. And Matt Michel, he's a magician at the piano, totally inventive, blending classical, jazz and experimental vibes effortlessly. Together, they've created this magical synergy over years of collaboration. And the best part, the performance is free and open to the public. So you can just show up at Williams Hall at NEC in Boston at 7:30 p.m. and soak it all in. And that was some trendy music news on the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashan De Silva. We're going for a short break, we'll be right back after that. When we come back, we're going to be talking about some of Avishai Cohen's best albums of all time. Stay tuned.